Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a modified Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the owner, Travis, for giving me some time with his new Tacoma. He's actually already done some really cool off-roading with this truck. I'll talk about that in the video. But before we get into the video, I do want to mention one more thing. This is the first video that I'm going to attempt to use a gimbal. I've never used that in any of my reviews before, so sorry if the footage isn't, I guess, as good as it normally is. I'm still getting used to the new technology, so with that being said, thanks to Travis, let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It puts out 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. With the bigger tires and everything, this is not going to get the EPA ratings anymore. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, I've already reviewed the TRD Off-Road, but I do want to mention some cool things about the TRD Off-Road. First off, this paint color looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at this in the sunlight. And then being the TRD Off-Road, you can see we've got fog lights here at the bottom. Notice how the front end is sculpted to help out with the approach angle. You can see we've got recovery points there at the bottom. Just a really aggressive look in general. And then the other cool thing about the TRD Off-Road, you can see we've got these big chunky fender flares that come with the package. And then of course there's the TRD Off-Road decal here on the back as well. But let's go over what you've all been waiting for, and that is the tire and wheel setup. So 285 by 70 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, you've got the bronze in the center, and I like how you've got the ring as well. I think that looks really sharp. And then look at how aggressive these tires are. And if you're wondering, this truck is not lifted. It just has a level kit. So here's a quick look in the suspension here. You can see with the Bilstein shocks and everything. But yeah, this has just been leveled. I think it's like an inch and a half with the level kit. So if we take a few steps back, you can see the stance that this creates. The truck is sitting on a slight slant, just so you know, so the back end elevation-wise is a little bit lower than the front end, but it still does have a little bit of front end rake, which I think looks really cool with the new Tacoma. And if you're wondering, you can see that the fitment on this is really solid. We don't have any issues, and we'll see with driving if it rubs or anything like that, but I mean, it looks pretty solid, like it's not going to rub or anything. And then the last thing is I'll show you guys the view here on the back. So cool looking with the truck. But yeah, look at this. Just every single angle here with the truck looks great on the exterior, if you ask me. Okay, now the last thing I want to go over is just some interior elements. So far I haven't seen a TRD Off-Road Premium. All of them have the standard package with the cloth seats, but some important stuff. You can see we've got these auxiliary switches right here, and then we've got a bunch of off-road tech. So we've got our multi-terrain select, we've got our crawl control, rear locking differential, you've got the 2-speed transfer case as well. So yeah, it's got all the off-road stuff that you'd need. And so with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the looks here with this Tacoma TRD Off-Road, and let's take it out. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, and throughout the rear. Let us set off. So I want to answer some questions that some people might have right off the bat. First off, you guys probably noticed that it looks like it has negative offset. The wheels are actually a positive offset. It's the tires, they're so wide that they poke out. So that's kind of the first thing that's interesting about this build. The next thing that you're probably wondering is, does it rub? So there's all the way to one side, no rubbing. And here's all the way to the other side, no rubbing. And here's even in reverse, one side, no rubbing, and to the other side, no rubbing. So, does not rub at all. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm hearing people are looking to put 35s in their new Tacomas. It's crazy the size of tires you can fit on these new Tacos. Now, something to note, I don't know how long this trip computer has been going on for. Actually, I wonder if I can see. I'll just leave it. 13.6 miles per gallon though is what the MPG is showing. And that's between, you know, daily driving and then, you know, some off-roading as well. But yeah, turbo 4-cylinder with big tires. It's not necessarily going to get the best fuel economy on the planet. But let's see how well this moves, these tires. Wow. That's impressive. No struggle at all. More than enough torque. Now, with these tires, you guys saw, they're Mickey Thompson's. Pretty aggressive tire, and they are aired up. So you do get the kind of mud terrain tire noise on road. It's not bad though, it's not obnoxious or anything like that, but you do hear them. Aside from that, again, with mud terrains, they do, because they chunk at the road a little bit more, you do feel that through the suspension a little bit. It's not uncomfortable, but you feel it. And yeah, going over bumps, it's firmer. It's definitely firmer. But again, this is all the way aired up. And what Travis was telling me is that when you took this off-road here down to like 18 PSI, which you don't have to have a bead lock for that because that's just high enough. And he said it was like pillows off-road. So yeah, all you have to do with tires like this is just air them down when you're off-road, and super comfortable. And you can have them aired down a little bit lower on road too, but you're going to get worse fuel economy, and then, you know, it tends to wear the tires a little bit quicker. Braking's not weird at all. Sometimes, you know, bigger tires on a truck can make it so the stopping power is not as good. It doesn't feel weird. Handles great. So much torque. See, this actually feels quick. The previous gen Tacoma with tires this big would be just an absolute dog. So slow, so boring. But this thing moves. It's nice, and the steering's not weird. It's still direct. Again, leveling kits don't change too much with the driving dynamics. That's why a lot of people like going for leveling kits over lift kits, because, well, they're more affordable and the vehicle will drive, you know, similar to stock, which is always a plus. Yeah, this drives really well though. And the only thing I could think of is, yeah, some people might not care for the mud terrains. You could do an all-terrain tire and it's going to be a lot quieter if that's your gig. So that is always an easy fix. Yeah, it handles so well. It's quite impressive, actually. Yeah, I like how this Tacoma drives. So to sum things up, looks fantastic. It's on a truck that makes sense, right? This is like perfect, you know, starting, you know, quote unquote starting. When I say starting for the new Tacoma off-road build, because you've got lots of sidewall, you've got, you know, smaller wheels, looks great. I feel like this accomplishes everything that people actually want but don't necessarily go for because they go for oversized wheels. This can do the off-road stuff, and it has the looks as well. And it doesn't really mess up with the driving dynamics at all. If you just did a level kit with some all-terrain tires, it would drive just like stock. The mud terrain tires are going to be better for off-roading, but it does change the ride a little bit. But let me know what you guys think about this Tacoma TRD Off-Road. Let me know if this is kind of what you would go for build-wise, or are you guys more excited for when they, you know, do 35s and stuff, when people get those on the truck? But yeah, let me know what you think.